I drop my overnight bag on Grandpa Leo's doorstep, hands shaking so badly I can barely hit the doorbell. My folder of medical papers, insurance cards, medication lists, the whole mess, spills out and scatters across the concrete, catching the autumn wind. I'm out of breath from sprinting up the steps after ditching my rental car in the driveway. Mom's voice is still ringing in my ears. "Ellis, it's Dad. We think he's had a stroke. You need to get here now." The door swings open, and there's Grandpa, standing in his favorite cardigan, clutching a mug of coffee. His silver eyebrows shoot up. "Ellis? What's going on?" My knees almost give out. "Grandpa, you're okay?" He looks at me like I've lost my mind. Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be? I rush past him into the foyer, my heart pounding out a warning in my chest. Mom called about a stroke. I was in Denver. I canceled my presentation to the investment board, got the first flight I could. He frowns, setting his mug on the table by the door. "That's odd. I haven't talked to your mother in 3 days." Something cold and sharp slides down my back. I pull out my phone, fingers still trembling, and open Instagram. There it is, posted 2 hours ago. My mom, dad, and Kyle, all on a beach, margaritas in the air. The caption says Maui, Hawaii. I turn the screen so Grandpa can see. His confusion melts into understanding as he studies the photo. "They told me you were too busy to come," he says quietly. "That you had important meetings all week." It's like a punch to the gut. They lied to both of us. I'm 35 and I've spent years working double shifts, waitressing through college and my MBA while my parents covered every penny of Kyle's education. The same Kyle who never worked until the family gave him a job at Davis Hospitality Group, the boutique hotel chain Grandpa built from scratch. Just 3 months ago, my parents promised me the leadership of the new Portland branch, a job I fought for. 2 weeks before launch, they quietly scrapped that plan and handed it to Kyle. "He just has the right personality for hospitality," my father said, like my years of work meant nothing. My hands stop shaking. Anger takes over. I call my mother and put her on speaker. She answers on the 5th ring, laughter and the sound of waves in the background. "I'm with Grandpa," I say, keeping my voice steady even though my heart's racing. "He's perfectly fine." There's a pause. "Oh, well, I must have misunderstood what your father said." "These things happen, honey." "Misunderstood?" I pull up the vacation photos again. "Is Maui nice this time of year?" Longer pause. "You're overreacting again. We tried to include you, but you said you were busy with work." "That's funny, since I never got an invitation." I look over at Grandpa, his jaw clenched. "And you told Grandpa I was too busy to visit him." "Ellis, really?" These misunderstandings wouldn't happen if you stayed more connected with the family instead of always focusing on work. Grandpa motions for the phone. I hand it over. "Naomi," he says, voice steady and sharp, the voice of a man who's not anywhere near death's door. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a lie. He hangs up and gives the phone back to me. "They've been doing this for years, Ellis. Keeping us apart." I follow him into his study, sunlight pouring through the tall windows. "What do you mean?" "They've been cutting me out of decisions, even though I started the company." He lowers himself into his leather chair. "Just like they're cutting you out for Kyle." My stomach twists. "But you're still the majority shareholder." "On paper." He pulls open a drawer and takes out a folder. "But they've been making moves behind my back." "And yours." It all hits me at once. Every late night, every business trip, every sacrifice I made to prove myself, it never mattered. They never planned to see me as their equal. I sink into the chair across from Grandpa. He's the only ally I have in a family that never wanted me to win. "What do we do now?" I ask. A small, sly smile tugs at his mouth. "We fight back." He leads me deeper into his study, the smell of old leather and his aftershave thick in the air. He walks to the far wall, moving with purpose, and slides back a panel to reveal a hidden safe. "I've been gathering evidence for months," he says, spinning the dial. "Never thought I'd need to use it against my own son." The safe swings open. He pulls out a thick manila folder, confidential stamped across it in red. These are copies of transactions, trust documents, and internal memos Naomi and Robert thought I'd never see. His voice shakes a little as he sets the folder down on his desk. "You should sit, Ellis." My stomach knots. I open the folder. Bank statements. Trust withdrawals. Board meeting minutes. The numbers blur. This can't be real, I whisper, running my finger down the column. $3.7 million. My trust fund, blood dry. Leo's jaw is tight. He doesn't have to say it, but he does anyway. Kyle spent it. The Vale condo, the yacht club, those so-called consulting fees, none of it real work. My knees buckle and I land hard in the leather chair. The room tilts as I stare at a $275,000 payment to a law firm. Traffic violations. Kyle's drunk driving accident last year. Leo's voice cuts through. The accident that was quietly erased. A pedestrian got hurt. My parents used my money to cover it up. Nausea burns in my throat as I find another document, a draft to transfer Davis Hospitality Group to Kyle when Leo dies. Another $3.7 million. They're planning to steal that too. From me. I grab my phone, hands shaking. I have to call Chloe. Leo nods. Your cousin's the only lawyer we can trust. Chloe answers on the third ring. I put her on speaker and scatter the papers across the desk so she can see them on video. Leo stands beside me, steady, his hand on my shoulder. Chloe's voice is sharp, all business. These statements show a pattern, systematic fraud. Look at the dates. They match up with board meetings, the same ones where they kept you busy at other properties. She points out a transfer to a Cayman account. That's not just favoritism, Ellis. That's straight-up fraud. Leo slides another folder closer to the camera. And these? Chloe goes silent for a second. Papers for a competency hearing. They wanted you declared mentally incompetent, Leo says. Grandpa's face goes pale. My own son, his voice barely a whisper. Chloe's voice hardens. There's more, tax evasion, offshore accounts, fake board minutes. She looks straight at me. They were going to take everything. The truth crashes down on me. All those years working double shifts, missing vacations, staying loyal to the family business for this? All a lie. What happens if they win? I ask, my lips dry. You lose everything, Chloe says. Not just the money, they'll take your job, your inheritance, the lot. My mind flashes back to the job in Chicago I turned down, VP of Operations, 6 figures, stock options. I gave it all up for this. You'll be ruined, Leo says quietly. And Kyle gets everything I worked 55 years for. Chloe's voice softens. Ellis, if you fight, they'll cut you off completely. This isn't just about money. You'll lose your family too. I laugh, bitter and empty. What family? The people who lied to me for my whole life? Leo slumps in his chair. He suddenly looks every bit his age. There's something else. He rubs his chest. My health isn't great. Early heart problems. Nothing fatal yet, but you need someone you can trust, I finish for him. He nods and hands me a folder. These make you my healthcare proxy and give you financial power of attorney. If you want it. My hands are steady as I sign. Stroke after stroke, my name on the line. A small victory in a storm of betrayal. The responsibility settles over me. Not just for my sake, but for Leo, the only one who built something real while my parents schemed to steal it all. Papers in hand, I wonder confront them now or wait and build my case. The thought of their faces when I lay out the evidence is tempting. But patience might be my better weapon. A week later, the Paramount Hotel ballroom shines with crystal and fake smiles. I watch from behind a palm tree while my parents beam for the cameras. Kyle's the new CEO, and he's playing his role, grinning, spouting lines about innovation and fresh starts. A former colleague walks up, then hesitates. Oh, I thought you'd already left. I force my face to stay calm. Just restructuring my role, I say. She glances at my parents, then back at me. Well, good luck with whatever comes next. Before I can say a word, she's gone. This little scene plays out 5 times before I finally sneak out through the service entrance. As soon as I'm outside, my phone buzzes. It's the marketing director, canceling our meeting tomorrow. That's the 3rd cancellation this week. The next morning, my bank flashes an alert on my screen. Apparently, the Sedona property, part of my inheritance, just sold. No one asked me. No heads up. My brother's name sits there as the authorized agent. I call the family attorney. Voicemail. I try the company's legal department, but the receptionist puts me on hold. When she comes back, she tells me my access is suspended pending a leadership transition. No real explanation. Later that day, I see Kyle pop up on the regional business report. He looks right into the camera and says, "Smooth as ever, the company needed saving from years of mismanagement." Sometimes, family loyalty means making hard choices. The words hit hard. 12 years of my life, 60-hour weeks, missed vacations, relationships I never even started, all brushed off as mismanagement. Back at my apartment, I try to log into my company email. Suddenly, it wants a password I've never set. IT tells me leadership approved the change. Sleep? Forget it. I spend my nights replaying conversations, tallying losses, looking for any warning I missed. My apartment, once a peaceful place, feels smaller every day. The walls keep closing in. One morning, I manage to slip into a conference call anonymously. Someone on the board calls me the James situation. My hands shake so badly I drop my coffee mug. It shatters, but the meeting just keeps rolling without me. My dining room turns into a command center. I cover every surface with financial statements and legal books, stacking them next to my grandfather's old company files. I build timelines of every shady decision, every weird transfer. Slowly, the mess starts to make sense, a pattern of betrayal, planned out over years. Then, one Wednesday night, someone knocks. I open the door a crack and see Irene, our housekeeper for 20 years. She presses a small key into my hand and whispers, "Some things aren't right. Your grandfather always said silence makes us complicit." I know the key right away. It opens my father's private office. 3 nights later, at a family dinner, I only go to keep up appearances. I get my chance. My mother leads some guests on a tour, and I slip away. The key turns easily. Inside, I work fast, digging through cabinets, snapping photos of documents, transfer authorizations with fake signatures, board minutes from dates that don't add up, trust amendments with sketchy witnesses. 15 minutes in, the door swings open. My father stands there, face dark. "What do you think you're doing in here?" Same tone he used when I was 8 and colored on his desk calendar. "I keep photographing a memo that seals it all. Finding the truth you've been hiding from me my whole life." He steps closer, trying to loom over me like always. But this time, I don't back down. I stand my ground. "Get out before I call security," he snaps, grabbing for my arm. I hold up my phone, showing him the photos. I've already got everything I need. His face changes, the mask drops, fear flashes underneath. And suddenly, I'm not scared of him anymore. The feeling is so freeing, I almost laugh. "You've always underestimated me," I tell him. "That was your biggest mistake." Later, Chloe is up all night sorting the evidence. Her apartment looks like a legal bunker, papers everywhere. When I offer to pay her, she shakes her head. "Don't. Think of it as payback for how they treated my mother." Grandpa Leo shows up with an old leather folder, the original company formation papers. "Your parents thought these burned up in the office fire last year," he says. Irene calls again, whispering the locations of more hidden files. Behind the pool house, under the garden shed floor. I've watched them stash things there for years. These people, outsiders, the ones nobody noticed, stand with me. Not because we're family, but because we share something deeper. Values. And standing in Chloe's kitchen, surrounded by stacks of evidence, the difference between that and my parents' games has never been clearer. We go over the final plan. Buried in the original company contract, there's a clause nobody remembers. It says if you prove fraud, you can strip someone's ownership. Chloe knows. She slides a folder across the table and says, "There's more." The FBI's already looking into Kyle's accident. She talked to an agent who's convinced Kyle bribed someone. The next morning, I push through the glass doors at Davis Hospitality Group headquarters. The receptionist stares, startled, but I keep going. The quarterly board meetings already started. Behind me, 4 FBI agents move in step, silent but unmistakable. For the first time in months, I actually smile. In the boardroom, I straighten my back and walk right in. The mahogany table's so polished it almost glows under the lights, and every board member's face reflects back, wide-eyed, as the agents file in behind me. My mother freezes mid-sip, champagne glass hovering in the air. Kyle's cocky grin slips. My father stands too fast, chair scraping the floor. "What's the meaning of this, Ellis?" he snaps. I set my leather portfolio on the table. "I'm here to present evidence of serious financial misconduct at Davis Hospitality Group." The room goes quiet. I pull out the documents, no shaking hands, just steady. I hand copies to each board member. I'm not the nervous daughter anymore. I'm here with proof. "These statements show systematic fraud going back 7 years, I say, trying to keep my voice level. Page 3 shows $3.7 million from my trust funneled into unauthorized accounts. Page 7, company money used to cover up Kyle's drunk driving last year." Patricia Morton, glasses slipping down her nose, scans the numbers. Her eyes get huge. My father jumps in, face red. "This is absurd. These documents are fake." I don't even look at him. "Leo's original contract spells it out," I say, pointing. "If there's evidence of fraud or unethical behavior, ownership can be revoked." Board Chairman Richard Donovan leans in, bushy eyebrows bunched together. "These are serious claims, Robert." "They're also true," I say. "I'm formally requesting a vote to remove my parents and brother from company leadership. Effective immediately." The CFO slides his chair away from my father. He doesn't say a word, but the message is loud. 2 other board members close their folders at the same time. Kyle leaps up, knocks his water glass over. "This is ridiculous." "She's just jealous because Dad picked me to lead." One of the FBI agents steps forward. "Mr. James, I'm Special Agent Becker. We have our own evidence about what happened in Vail last winter, including proof of a $275,000 payment to the victim's family. Paid with company funds." Kyle's face goes sheet white. My mother stands up, smoothing her blouse, hands shaking. "This is a family matter. We should handle it in private." I move to adjourn. Chairman Donovan clears his throat. "Naomi, using company money for personal reasons is exactly the problem." Martin Wright, who's played golf with my dad forever, turns to him. His voice is different now. "Robert, what about that expansion in Sedona? Did you get board approval for that?" My dad doesn't answer. Sweat beads on his forehead. Chairman Donovan turns to me. "Do you want your parents arrested or just removed from the company?" I hesitate. Justice or family? Do I want to see them hauled away or just take back what's mine? Then the door opens. Grandpa Leo walks in, slow but steady, cane in hand. His hair shines silver in the light. He might look frail, but the room shifts around him. Every conversation dies. "I started this company 55 years ago," he says, voice strong. "I built it on honesty, not lies." Chloe follows, holding a leather case. She's got that lawyer look, calm, certain. "I've prepared the documents transferring Leo's controlling shares to Ellis James," she says, placing them in front of the chairman. "It's done. Legally binding as of this morning." Irene, our housekeeper, steps in from her spot by the door. My mother just stares, mouth open. Irene lifts her chin. "I've seen documents destroyed at the James house, financial papers, contracts, letters. Mr. Robert James told me to burn them. I kept records." And that's where everything changes. The chairman flips through the transfer papers, then glances up at my grandfather. "Leo, are you sure about this?" he asks. Grandpa barely hesitates. "More sure than I've been about anything in years," he says, steady as ever. That's it. The vote's quick, unanimous. Just like that, my parents and Kyle lose every company position they held. Gone. I find myself standing at the head of the table, the spot my dad sat in minutes ago. The whole room feels heavy, but not in a way that crushes me. It's like I finally stepped into the role I was meant for. Across the table, Kyle's grin vanishes. He gets it now. His eyes bounce between the FBI agents and the board, hoping someone will step in. No one moves. My mom's mascara streaks down her cheeks. She whispers, "This will ruin the company," but no one bites. The board's seen the proof. Tears won't fix this. Dad shoves his chair back and stands. "This meeting's over." We'll fight these insane accusations. He heads for the door, but two FBI agents block him. Robert James, Agent Becker calls out, "We have a few questions about tax evasion and misappropriation of funds." I gather my papers and turn to the room. Emergency company meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Everyone deserves to know what's happening and that their jobs are safe. I meet Dad's eyes. Things are about to change around here. Later, my phone buzzes with a message from Mom. It's short, but I can feel the panic. "We need to talk before this goes any further." Dad's office. 7 a.m. I delete it without replying, but I'll show up. Not for them. I just want to see their faces. At 7 sharp, I walk into Dad's office. The place feels smaller now. Mom sits hunched, clutching tissues. Kyle paces by the window, stops when he sees me. Dad sits behind his desk, stiff as a mannequin. "Ellis, please sit," he says, voice softer than I've ever heard. "We want to explain." I stay standing. I've heard enough explanations to last me a lifetime. Mom jumps in, still sniffling. "You're overreacting. We always had your best interests at heart." I cut her off. By stealing my inheritance? By trying to get Grandpa declared incompetent? Dad lifts his hands, as if to calm things down. "We can compromise. We'll apologize, you can co-manage the Portland properties. Just drop the worst charges." Mom's voice sharpens. "Think about what you're doing. This scandal will destroy everything your grandfather built." When I don't flinch, she shifts tactics. "You're not fit to lead. Maybe we should revisit Leo's evaluation. He wasn't thinking straight when he gave you those shares." The old me might have panicked. Today, I just smile. "I've already met with the major investors," I say, pulling out a folder. "They support me." I spread out testimonials from hotel staff, statements about how much better things are since I took over last week. Turns out people work harder when they aren't scared of getting fired for speaking up. Dad tries to grab the papers. I pull them back. "I'm not here to bargain. I'm here to inform." I stand up straighter. "For 35 years, you've undermined me while pretending to support me. You promised Portland, then handed it to Kyle. You paid his tuition while I worked double shifts. You stole my inheritance, told me I wasn't ready for responsibility." My voice doesn't shake. "I don't need your approval. I never had it." Kyle finally explodes. "This is insane. You can't." I cut him off. "You have two choices. Face charges for fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. Or surrender every claim to the business and pay back what you took." I check my watch. "You've got until the 9 o'clock meeting to decide." The atrium at Davis Hospitality Group headquarters is packed and buzzing. Sunlight pours in through the glass ceiling. I spot my parents and Kyle slipping in through a side door, their badges only turned back on for this meeting. I step up to the mic. "Thank you for coming. I'm Ellis James, and as of yesterday, I'm in charge of Davis Hospitality Group. The old management committed serious financial misconduct. You deserve to know what's happening." The crowd stirs, bracing for what comes next. My father shoots me a look, a real scowl, the kind that says he's furious, but trying not to show it. I ignore it. My first move as CEO? Total company overhaul. I clear my throat and look around the room. The longtime employees, the ones who used to treat me like furniture, finally meet my gaze. Starting today, we're rolling out profit sharing for everyone who's been with us more than 18 months. For a second, the room just buzzes with silence, then the whispers start, surprised, curious, maybe a little hopeful. I keep going. "There's someone here who's held this place together for as long as I can remember." I point to the back. "Irene Franklin, come up here, please." Irene steps forward, shoes tapping across the marble. She's been with my family since before I was born, always in the background, always steady. I announce her new role, executive housekeeper, in charge of all Davis Hospitality Group properties. Her first order of business? Make sure every housekeeper gets a living wage. As I shake Irene's hand, the room breaks out in applause. I spot my mother, her face twisted in shock. To her, Irene was just the help. Not anymore. That's not all, I say. We're starting the Leo James Legacy Fund for employees' kids. Education changed my life. I want everyone in the James family to have that chance. Right then, a couple of maintenance guys roll out a cart. For 15 years, my parents' stiff oil portraits have hung on the lobby wall. Now, the team takes them down and puts up a photo of Grandpa Leo and me from last Christmas, us doubled over, laughing about something I can't even remember. When the meeting ends, people who used to breeze past me in the halls stop to shake my hand, share ideas, even say thanks. My parents and Kyle stand near the exit stunned. Their badges don't work anymore. Just like that, they're shut out of the company they thought they'd always own. By the afternoon, the whole office is buzzing about the settlement my parents signed. Word is, they're facing big financial penalties, and if they break the deal, jail isn't off the table. Later, I'm knee-deep in Portland property proposals when my assistant pops in. "Your brother's here. He wants to see you." I nod, half curious, half bracing myself. Kyle steps in alone this time. No parents, no swagger, none of the old arrogance. He actually looks at me, really looks, and says, "I didn't know about all of it." I swear. His voice sounds strange, almost small. I put my pen down and wait, not sure what comes next for a family that's just blown itself apart. A year goes by. I'm checking slides on my tablet, making sure the profit numbers are right before the board meeting. It's been 12 months since I took over, and profits at Davis Hospitality Group are up 31%. Not bad for the child nobody thought would make it. The boardroom doors swing open. The same executives who once looked through me now greet me by name, shake my hand with real respect. It's wild. Just last month, 3 top hotel magazines wanted interviews. 6 months ago, these folks barely saw me. "Let's get started," I say, voice steady, strong. No more holding back. After the meeting, I walk through our main property and stop to chat with Carmen about her son's college applications. The scholarship committee meets next week. Make sure he has everything in. She grins. "Thank you, Miss James. Under your father, I never would have mentioned my kids. This year, we've helped 38 employees' children through the scholarship fund." When I greet the housekeeping staff, Maria, Thomas, Lena, they light up. I can tell they're not used to being seen, not by management, not by my parents. That night, I head to the industry's annual gala. Same chandeliers, same fountains, but everything feels different. I'm in emerald green, not hiding in dull blues and grays. The announcer's voice rolls out. "This year's Hotelier of the Year has driven incredible growth and transformed employee benefits." When they call my name, the applause is deafening. Exactly a year ago, they gave this award to Kyle. Now here I am, holding it in my hands. I step up to the mic. Success isn't about what you own. It's about the legacy you build, the integrity you show. I tell them this award belongs to every employee who put their trust in me. I find Grandpa Leo in the crowd, eyes shining. He's the one who taught me what real leadership means. You don't inherit it. You earn it every day. And I try to remember that, no matter what. 2 weeks later, Leo lifts his glass across Chloe's old wooden table, the lake shimmering outside her window. Irene's beside him, no longer stiff and formal, retirement suits her. Candlelight bounces off the silver in Leo's hair. We're toasting a year since we took the reins. Chloe raises her glass, to the family we choose. Irene chimes in, her voice warm and full, to integrity restored. Leo looks at me, proud, while I lay out my plans for Miami boutique hotels, wellness centers for employees, not just perks for guests. "You've blown us away, Ellis. Not just as a businessperson, but as a leader," he says. Monday morning, sunlight spills through my office window as I pore over blueprints for our newest idea, hotels designed around caring for the people who work there, not just the ones who stay. Then there's a soft knock on my door. My assistant slips in and hands me a thick, cream envelope. Inside, a letter from Kyle. He's in Seattle now, running a restaurant called Fresh Start Bistro. He hires people who need a break, folks coming out of prison, recovering addicts, survivors looking for a fresh start. "I watched you rebuild what our parents tried to tear down," he writes. "Maybe we could talk again someday?" I set his letter next to a photo I keep on my desk. Grandpa Leo, age 25, standing outside his first hotel, holding the business plan he wrote by hand. Beside it sits my own rough plan for Davis Hospitality Group, a future built on fairness and respect, not lies and favoritism. Reading Kyle's words, I start thinking about forgiveness. Can you truly patch things up with family after so much damage? Or is it smarter to treasure the good memories and let the rest go? Honestly, I'm torn. What would you do?